This is your moment. This is your moment in time. This is your moment. This is your moment.
I want to welcome you all back to the Sage Method podcast. I am really excited to introduce to you Brenda Fritz. Hi, Brenda.
Hello.
Brenda is a certified Sage practitioner. She's with the Sage Method team and a psychic intuitive. I wanted to invite Brenda on because we've got a topic today, and I'm going to hand it right on over to you, Brenda, and jump right on in. I think it's going to be great. Let's talk about the difference between religion and spirituality.
Well, the fun thing for me is the way I was raised. My parents had a variety of religious backgrounds. They came together and decided to raise us as Catholics, but yet with their what we call a Protestant background, my mother being Southern Baptist and my father being Methodist, they still had the the Protestant teachings, so to say. My father was always big on God's not going to judge you according to your religion so much as he's going to judge you according to how you lived your beliefs. And that drove me into another direction of, well, does that mean just one religion is right or all religions right? Or, I was a teenager, so I had questions, and he told me to go ahead and go to other churches. So I did. And basically, there was a difference in the services, but the messages all seem to be the same. You have to live this way in order to get to heaven. You can't do this or you're not going to get there. And I was like, but if God's an all loving God, there's got to be a loophole.
So you're looking for a loophole. So would you
Yes, I
say it
was.
was, so then it's safe to say maybe that your dad really was the one that it sounds like he invited you to sort of open that door a little bit and look
Mhm.
around. So you had this parent figure who didn't say this is what it is. He
Well, and,
said,
and
look around.
basically, yes. And the fun thing about it is a lot of people might call this strange. My mother was a very, very good palm reader, and she encouraged us about ESP and listening to our gut instincts, is the way she would put it. If it didn't feel right, don't do it. She put a lot of stock into that, and also being raised Catholic with praying to saints and such. Um, the paranormal didn't seem too far fetched for us. So again, when my father had stated, it's according to how you believe, I started looking at various churches as well as numerology, astrology, anything I could get my hands on along those lines as well.
So it's not that you were raised in one particular way and then at some point you had an aha moment. You were actually raised by religious individuals. Now, your mom was Catholic. Did your dad follow a particular religion? Did I miss that?
He joined the Catholic faith because of my mother. Um, but I believe it's the Methodists that actually teach that, not the shoe doesn't fit on everybody. Everybody has to live their life according to how they feel comfortable. And I really welcomed that because my mother, when she would get really frustrated, her Baptist would show, she would say something, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I mean, she'd get so aggravated. And I'm like, but I don't want an angry God. So it was so much easier for me to learn to accept different ways of viewing things. And in that way I could learn what fit for me.
I'm smiling because I was raised Methodist.
Oh.
And so I relate deeply to that in that we're, Methodists were religious, right? And we went to church every Sunday and did confirmation and things like that, but you love others unconditionally and
Mhm.
without judgment. And I always found that to be really wonderful. It's a huge Methodist population in Minneapolis, where I'm from. And Minneapolis is also historically a very progressive area. A lot of different people in different walks of life and different paths, and a lot of acceptance around that as well. So there's varying degrees of acceptance in religions. What fascinating, this is what I want to ask you next. So you've got your mom who's Catholic, but she also read palms, and she
Mhm.
also, talked about a few other things in those. So she was kind of on that spiritual religious fence, or do you feel that she incorporated them together? How did she put those two things together?
In all actuality, I feel like they kind of went hand in hand in our household. Um, if
Because
we
sometimes
felt
they don't.
well, it's really funny because when we lived in Kansas for a short time, we thought we had a spirit because the house would shake every day at 1. And didn't matter, summer, winter, at 1 o'clock, the house would shake. So, being Catholic and believing that there may have been a spirit stuck in the house, the family got together. We got our rosaries and we got our candles, and we walked around the house saying a rosary, and the sound stopped. The house didn't shake anymore after that. So, for us, it was kind of a blend of both. Um, and I really, really believe you have to take a lot on faith when you do both because they almost contradict each other. And sometimes they really do.
Yeah, it's that contradiction that I think people really struggle with, don't you?
Hmm.
It's feeling like, I was raised Methodist, and I no longer am practicing
Hmm.
in any religion, but I still think so highly of Jesus and his path and the energy of it. And I think a lot of people can get stuck in it's all or nothing. You're religious or you're not. And
Right.
I'm hearing from you this beautiful example of being able to have this path that somebody laid out for you, which is religion,
Hmm.
and exploring it through a spiritual angle.
Yes. Well, what's really fun is that my parents were God fearing. I mean, they were good Christian folk. I mean, you couldn't fault them for that. They lived dedicated lives. Um, did what they believed, didn't break any laws. I mean, they were good people. And yet they showed us more than one way to rejuvenate our souls, fill our souls up, make us feel like whole beings, mind, body, and soul. I mean, they blessed us with so much more by being Catholic converts than not really. Then in to me, if they had stayed Southern Baptist and Methodist, we there might have been a tug of war between the two of them. Whereas they came together with the Catholicism and were able to build on that, and that was very, very, very nice for us.
I can feel that when you talk about it. There's a lot of unity in this. And
Yes.
it's really interesting because if you were to just lay out for someone, my mom was this, my dad was this, they came together, they converted to this. Oh, and then here's these spiritual components. Somebody might think, well, wow, that had to have been a tough existence, everyone kind of clashing, but yet here you are having lived this experience of having access to both religion and spirituality. How would you differentiate religion and spirituality?
Oh, I learned. Well, Catholics tell you how to pray. It's like with the sign of the cross, and you they prefer you kneel. And then they have the Our Father, the Hail Mary. They have different scads of prayers you say verbatim, And then on the spiritual side for me was where I could just say what was in my heart. So I had the structure over here. It's almost like my father's brothers were all officers in the Second World War, and all of my mother's brothers were enlisted in the Second World War. Yet they they accomplished the same goal. And for me, it was the same thing. My religion and my spirituality were accomplishing the same goal in making me whole.
I love that. If we think about our journey here on earth, and this is part of why I love the Sage Method and especially the Sage Circle, because we literally have in the spiritual community that we've built people from all walks of life, all different religions, and we're all speaking the same language, which is the language of unconditional love. That's powerful. And I've run into individuals along the way that have said to me when they find out that I'm a medium, that I'm spiritual, they've said to me, well, then you're not religious. What do you think of the churches? Right. And my definition of religion has always been, of positive religion, has
Mhm.
always been, um, is the congregation your extended family? Are they there for you? Are you thriving in a positive manner as a result of touching base every Sunday or every Saturday or every Wednesday, whatever it is for your religion? Is this benefiting your life? And that's always been my sort of navigation through it. Do you know what I mean? So I like when you say, like, in Catholicism, you're told how to connect
Mhm.
and exactly what to say. And in spirituality or not, I can't find anything wrong with either.
Mm-mm. There isn't anything wrong with either. There is a comfort in saying a rosary over and over again. It's like saying a mantra. It's there is a closeness to God when you say your rosary. Um, but for me, when I express myself, if I'm not happy, I want them to know I'm not happy and why. And the Catholics don't have a prayer for that. So I have to come up with my own. Um, I decided a long time ago that loves all of us unconditionally. He created all of us the way we are, warts and all. And I like that. I like to know that I can go to him with any and everything. And I also like knowing that there are helpers on the other side. The Catholics do call them angels and saints. Other people, like me, I'll call mine spirit guides. I do work with some higher ups, but there are a plethora of spiritual beings there, ready and waiting to help. I mean, they're just pick me.
Exactly. And different names, right? Different
Mhm,
titles, but they all
mhm.
come from the same source, really.
Yes.
They all come
Mhm.
from the same source. I would rather hear someone say that they are connected through their religion than not connected at all.
Correct.
And everyone has their own role in life and
Mhm,
their in the path that they're going to choose. And some people come down and they do choose atheism and things like that. I just want to hear that they're living their best life in that
mhm.
version, really. What I'm gonna I know that there's a big focus on positivity because you're such a strength in the positivity realms. But if you had to put, a darker piece to religion, or perhaps we can talk about it in a sense of like, what can people look to avoid with religion versus what should they be going toward in their religion? What would you say?
Anything that makes you uncomfortable, do not do it.
Okay.
If it does not resonate with you, if it does not make you feel bigger and more whole and full of love, then it's not meant for you. Find what is. Um, no one. this is my belief. No one religion is right, but no one religion is wrong. We all go up the same mountain. We just take different paths.
Exactly, spot on. It's a journey, and I love that. I rarely hear people talk about the discomfort. That's your own intuition. That's
Yes,
using your intuition, right?
yes.
Stepping away from the judgment piece
Hmm.
and stepping into your connection. Focus on your connection to
Yes.
your source, to your God, to your higher power.
Hmm.
That's where the beauty is. And I love what you said there. No religion is, the only religion, the right religion, and no religion is the wrong religion.
Right.
Th-
They're all right. They're all going in the same direction. And that's the joy of it. That's the wonder of it all, is that so, so many people on this earth, and they believe in so many different ways. It's like a multifaceted diamond. We are all beautiful in our own way. And when we come together, we all just shine.
when I see coming together and shining, when you say that, I think of those times when I see someone, two people who are from very different religions engage with each other and are interested in hearing about the other's religion. Tell me how you celebrate that aspect of life. That's beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Like actually honoring how somebody from another religion approaches that, right?
It's actually a curiosity. My brother was better at it than I was, and I, Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormon missionaries, people like that come and knock on the door, and my brother would welcome them in, and I would sit and listen with them. I mean, they would talk about theology, they would talk about maybe this doesn't fit right, but this one would. I mean, he would actually get these people to thinking as opposed to the other way around, because my brother and I, we were into all of it, not just this one aspect that they wanted us to hear. We
Mhm.
wanted them to say, well, tell us what do you think of this part too? And that's where we learned about other people, their traditions, their beliefs. I don't think you're going to find, you won't learn anything without asking questions. So that's what we did. We would invite these people in just so we could have these conversations and learn the differences between what they believed and what we believed, and we'd look it up in the Bible. And I mean, this, it was great. You have to have open discussions like that so that you can see how other people see things. You don't have to agree with them. It's just fun to see the different ways people see things.
Exactly. I think when we can let go of the disagreement piece, well, the
Hmm.
two things that I would love to see people be able to release around religion is disagreeing, with somebody else's religion
Hmm.
because it's not yours.
Hmm.
You don't have to walk that walk, right?
Correct.
So, somebody might be wearing bright orange. I can't stand bright orange clothing, but I'm not going to spend energy and time getting upset that let them wear what they're going to wear, right?
Hmm.
They're not hurting anybody. That's a big piece, which leads me to the second part that I've always felt very passionately about is don't try to change someone else.
Hmm.
Just don't try to change somebody else or expect them to follow that same beliefs. Do not expect me to wear fluorescent clothing. It's not going to happen. I'm going to be miserable. I'm going to fight you on it all day long, right? Let me wear the clothing that works for me.
Right.
If you've got an issue with my clothing, ask me about my clothing, right? But it really can be that simple
Hmm.
in picking your paths. And some people come down, I believe, into a particular religion. I love the story of your mom and dad into a particular religion, and then find that a different one fits better or unites them better. I mean, I think that that's absolutely beautiful. Some people come down into a particular religion, and that's home. It just feels
Uh,
right. It's that feeling that you talked about. Are you
right.
uncomfortable? Are you comfortable? Does this fill you? You used a word earlier that was really beautiful. It was something about making you bigger or, um, expanding that part of yourself.
Becoming full of love. Yes.
They're becoming full. Exactly. Does it fill you
Mhm.
up, right? And does it
Yes.
bring you toward a positive outcome versus a negative?
Yes. As long as it follow your bliss, as long as it brings you joy, it resonates with your soul. You walk in and these are my people. That's where you belong. If if you go in and it feels dark, um, cold, unwelcoming, don't stay. Don't go, oh, I'll get over this. No, be true to yourself. Follow your bliss.
Exactly. And those are your people. I love how you
Hmm.
said that. Find your people,
Hmm.
right? And
Exactly.
there is indeed dark in a lot of different, situations. There are people that are trying to, make people do different things, et cetera, et cetera. And that's not really what we're touching on today. Today is more of we're talking to the listener, we're talking to you. We're saying it doesn't have to be all or nothing. That's what
Mhm,
I'm passionate about. I hear a lot of
mhm,
people that step into like the spiritual community that we have and they say, "Well, I'm having a hard time getting rid of, or
mhm.
or walking away from my religion." And the question that I think that you're bringing up for people today in such a loving way is, do you have to walk away from that?
No, no,
Right?
don't. No, you stay with your religion. It brings you, in my mind, it brought me closer to my religious side as opposed to further away from it. It made me more comfortable with asking God for help, saying, "Hey, look, I can't. If I'm meant to do such and such, it would be nice if you could provide this." And more times than not, I'll get what I ask for because I'm meant to do what it is I'm meant to do. So I do it.
Exactly. And for some, they do step completely away from their religion. For me, I stopped practicing, being a Methodist when I was 15. I mean, so it's been a very long time, like, 4 or 5 years ago. Um, putting a 0 on that, right? So
Mhm.
it's been a very, very long time, but, for some, you can hear them talking about stepping into a spiritual path, so they feel like they have to completely shut down the religious side of them, and you can hear the heartbreak. You can hear in their voice, some of what they don't wanna walk away from, and I think it's perfectly fine. It's a loving God in almost every religion out there, and
It's
you're
uh,
beautiful exactly the way you are.
yes, exactly. It's think of religion and spirituality as one coin, and religion's on one side and spirituality is on the other. They serve the same purpose to fill your soul.
Mhm.
So that's to me the best way I've been able to look at that because as I got older, had my own children, did my own thing, I learned I stopped going to church so much and have leaned more heavily into my spirituality in my later years. I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for my religious upbringing. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't think any of us would be. It's just a matter of who you become on your journey that you call this life. It's wondrous. It's amazing, and yeah, you stumble, but why not? It's all it's all good.
It's all good, and it's
Mhm.
community, and it's connection,
Mhm.
you know? Let go of the judgment, step into the love, the community, and the connection in
Mhm.
any version that works for you. I think it's really important for people
Mhm.
to connect to that right now. That's part of this big spiritual awakening is what works for you. We asking the question, what works for you? And it doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It just has to fill you up, like you said.
I think that's the blessing that the pandemic gave us. A lot of people ended up having to stay home and do a lot of their worshiping online. And I found you because of the pandemic. So it was for me a very, very big blessing and a big, large piece of the puzzle that I've been looking for a long time. Um, but it's never meant to be one or the other. It's never all or nothing. Um, and as far as I'm concerned, we don't have a vengeful God so much as he might say that's not nice, but everything is out of love. It always has been.
Absolutely. It's a roadmap to
Hmm.
navigate love, really.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there are small groups that are that we're not discuss that's we're not addressing or discussing the small groups that are the manipulative, trying to,
Hmm.
do harmful things to their followers. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about finding that space of love and religion, and not feeling like you have to completely let it go, because you can have all pieces in your life. And I think that's absolutely wonderful.
Yes, I grew up during the time where women were having it all, basically. And yes, you can have it all with religion and spirituality. You can have it all.
Exactly. I love that. Thanks for chatting with me about this today, because I think it's important to put words to it. It's important for people to hear, you know, the reminder that they are perfect exactly the way they are, and their connection is unique to them
Yes.
and should be honored and seen that way. And find
Hmm.
your people. I love that you said that. Find your people.
You got to find your people.
Find them. They're going to help you thrive. It's going to be absolutely
Yes.
wonderful, because there's going to be somebody else out there that, you know, kind of has a similar path to you. And then you can hike up that mountain together,
Yes.
and ignore the other person on the mountain yelling at you that you're on the wrong trail. Leave me alone. Go back to your trail.
I like
I'll
the
see you at the
view over
top.
here. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. You're doing fine. I'll see you at the top. We'll have sandwiches. It'll be great. It'll be wonderful. So, well, thank you for joining me. I do want to let people know again that you are one of the Sage certified practitioners. People can find information about you on thesagemethod.com if
Hmm.
they want to reach out to you. And I love what you're bringing into this world with positivity. I mean, you've just created an Oracle deck focused on positivity. That's in the works. It's being manufactured now. You've got the I Am Journal, which is focused on helping an individual focus on their own positivity and lift themselves up. I think that that's absolutely wonderful. People can reach out to you through email, and we'll go ahead and make sure that these links are available. uh,
Okay.
but also, if anyone wants to find you, they can certainly find you on thesagemethod.com, located there. And thank you again for being here with me. Do you
Well, thank
have
you
any
for being here.
last words of wisdom for our listeners?
Enjoy life to its fullest.
Yep, yep, 100%. Thank you so much. Mwah. I adore
Thank
you.
you.
This is your moment.